Hello everyone, how's it hanging? I wanted to show you this very simple but efficient design for a pickle farm that should work for hopefully most versions of Minecraft starting from 1.13 onwards. The redstone is very simple. At the very least it works in version 1.21.13 or whatever version we're on, I can't remember. And yeah, it's a very nice design that I made myself. It is quite simple in terms of like the mechanics and stuff. So if I have accidentally ripped someone off, someone else's design off, please feel free to let me know down in the comments, and I will add credit down in the description if someone has already thought up of this design or a design similar to this. But yeah, that being said, let's get on to actually building this thing. Okay, so let's take a look at what materials we're going to need for the farm. Now, keep in mind we only need 57 building blocks. I've personally decided to split that quantity up into 30 building blocks and 27 glass blocks, but if you don't have glass, feel free to just stick to the 57 building blocks. You know, either one of these options is perfectly fine. Then what you're also going to want to have is a whole bunch of scaffolding / temporary blocks. I'm going to be using dirt and a dud item that will jumpstart the hopper clock, which I've just chosen a wooden sword here. So yeah, that being said, let's get on to building. Okay, so we're going to be building this farm from the bottom up, starting with a double chest with a hopper and then another hopper going into it, with 4 additional hoppers feeding into each one of the sides of this hopper in a cross shape. And then you want to add an additional hopper to each one of the corners like so. You want to make sure that it is feeding into the side of the hoppers that you just placed, and you should have a nice square grid like this. The really important thing is just to make sure that every single hopper eventually leads back into this central one. But yeah, now you want to switch over to your building blocks and add 3 onto each one of the sides of the square, like so. And then once you've done that, you want to make sure that you are facing towards the hoppers and place a redstone block on the rightmost side of the row of blocks that you have just placed. So that on each side, like so. And then when you reach this side, which is the one that is nearest the hopper down there at the bottom, you want to go ahead and add a piece of glass here, then a trapdoor like so, and then another piece of glass like so. We will see why we have done that later on. And then what you want to do is just basically surround this whole thing with glass like so. Now, grab your regular rails and place 2 of them like this, and then a powered rail, then 3 regular rails, then a powered rail, 3 regular rails, a powered rail, 3 more regular rails, a powered rail, and finally 1 last regular rail, and you should have a pattern that looks exactly like this. You want to make sure that each one of these powered rails has 3 regular rails leading into it. And yeah, once you have that, you want to grab your water buckets and your minecart with hopper, and you just want to basically waterlog each and every one of these rails. Now, something to note is that you don't want to be crouching while doing this, because it will place the water on top of the rails, which is definitely not what we want to be doing. Make sure to fill your buckets because we will need them for later. And finally, place the minecart with hopper, which will go around picking up all of the pickles. I realize now that I forgot to mention what the point of this trapdoor was. It's basically just so that you can sort of do maintenance on this, because sometimes minecarts just decide to misbehave and just completely stop dead in their tracks or despawn. So if you need to replace the minecart down below, you can use this nice little trapdoor to just go ahead and do that, because it might be something you have to do. I don't know, I haven't tested it, but sometimes this stuff just happens because, you know, glitches. So yeah, so once we've got that, grab your temporary blocks and your coral blocks and place them in this diamond shape that I will show you in a moment. So like this is how you want to place them. Place a sea pickle in the middle. Then you want to go ahead and place a block of dirt and another block of dirt, and then a dispenser like so. This will be what will feed this pickle all of its bone meal that it needs to grow. And now what you want to go ahead and do is place a block of a temporary block on each one of these corners, and place glass surrounding each of them, except for this one. You don't want to place a glass block on one of these corners here, and you will see why in a bit. But yeah, for this one you want to place it, and for the whole rest of them you're also going to want to be placing them. And now we remove all of the temporary blocks. And now for this one that we left open, you want to place an oak trapdoor, and you want to grab your pistons, and what you're going to want to do is place a downward facing piston above each one of these coral blocks using the old trapdoor technique. And you also want to make sure you're shifting so you don't accidentally look at the dispenser. Oh, if that happens, just basically go back into the trapdoor. And once you've done all of them, what you're going to want to do is waterlog this pickle, and finally place the last piston like so. Remove your trapdoor and place the glass on the end like that. And so yeah, the pickle chamber should be fully completed now. And what you can do is move on to the top and place a hopper on top of the dropper and a chest like so. This will be where all of your bone meal goes for the farm. So what I've done here is I have placed down a whole bunch of bone meal so that the dispenser can dispense out the bones that the pickle needs to grow. And what we want to do now is, facing away from the chest down below, is you want to place down like a C of blocks like this, like the letter C, and then 2 blocks out like so. You want to place your comparator here at the end, then you want to place a redstone repeater like so, and then 2 more repeaters. These ones you want to make sure that they have the maximum tick delay, and then you want to go ahead and go around all of these glass blocks and place a block on top. This is so that the pickles, sometimes they accidentally, they fall out from those gaps, and you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And you should have an additional block to spare. Then you want to just go around and basically cover all of these spots here with redstone dust. I've accidentally covered that one. But yeah, you want to make sure to get all of the pistons. And now what you can work on is the hopper clock, which should go like this. It's a very simple design. And you basically just have hoppers feeding into each other, and that just goes around creating an endless loop. And you want to place in your one item, and yeah, that should be the farm pretty much done. One last thing you want to do is make sure to add a lever here. This will make it so that the farm can be activated and deactivated. If you find that this configuration gives you problems because the redstone is activated, or I don't know what, then what you can do is just switch this around 1 block over, and when this farm is deactivated, this redstone will not be turned on. But yeah, this should be a better configuration because it pushes down any spare pickles basically. But yeah, now if we go ahead and activate the farm up top, might want to build a ladder up here. Should be producing a whole bunch of pickles, which get filtered down below here, and indeed they do. Don't know how effective the actual farm is. I haven't checked the rates, but it is pretty efficient. And yeah, hopefully this farm is useful. And if you like it, subscribe and like and stuff. I don't really care, like other YouTubers, but yeah, that's the farm. Cool.